Hi, I'm Melanie Thompson, the Senior Regional VP of BBB of Middle Tennessee and Southern Kentucky. Welcome to our second Bite-Sized Learning webinar. In this series, we promise to give you maximum information with a minimal time investment. For those of you who don't know, BBB is a nonprofit membership organization with chapters throughout North America. Our focus is on advancing marketplace trust. Last year, our BBB provided over 4.3 million instances of service to consumers and businesses alike. I want to go ahead and get started by introducing our panelists, Caleb Nix, who is our Marketing and Communications Manager, and next is Kari Chunn, our resident expert on customer reviews. Kari has been with BBB since 2013 and managing our customer reviews since 2014. She has spent the last 6 years helping businesses harness the power of reviews. Last year alone, Kari processed over 20,000 reviews and 8,000 business responses. Please help me welcome Kari Chunn.
Good afternoon, everyone. Go ahead and get started right away since we're doing a bite-sized learning lunch. Consumers tell the Better Business Bureau that the most trusted form of advertising these days is word of mouth. Today's consumers prefer learning about your business from other customers and not you. Consumers trust the recommendations from friends and family and even people they don't even know. They're just reading their comments online and review sites. And we live in the age of the consumer. And consumers today have more influence about your business than they have ever had before. It's all about what they say, positive or negative, about to a friend in person or on social or digital communication. In this generation of mobility, creating a great customer service experience has never been more important. With a single post on a review site or a social media platform, a customer can broadcast their opinion, positive or negative, about you in a matter of seconds. And we can probably take that in a minute and be a little overwhelmed by that thought. A business's reputation can be destroyed very quickly with negative reviews and negative content out there. So how do you generate word of mouth recommendations? One of the many different ways to achieve this is by harnessing the power of customer reviews. Customer reviews are a very integral part of today's marketplace. We've seen that more and more since 2014. 82% of consumers check out a business's rating and their online reviews before making a decision to buy or use a business's services. There is no doubt that consumers are influenced by independent online review sites before making their purchases. Reviews can and do impact sales. Consumers want and expect to find customer reviews when they search for a business. Besides bbb.org, you all know that consumers can post reviews on a lot of local listings and other independent review sites and social media like Facebook. However, BBB reviews and ratings are more trusted by consumers because they are third-party validated. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. That's kind of where I want to get started today. I first want to share with you about what makes BBB reviews different from other review sites and how the BBB customer process works. Then we're going to talk about harnessing the power of reviews to grow your business, how to ask for reviews, and best practices for responding to reviews, mostly negative reviews. And then I think Caleb's going to talk about optimizing reviews and SEO, and we'll leave some time for questions at the end. If you have a question, go ahead and jot it down, or I guess there's probably a place where you can put it in the question and answer, and Melanie can keep up with those, and we'll try to get to as many of those at the end of our short time. So BBB business profiles have provided a space for customer reviews since 2014, and I've been a part of that since that time. And this is just a general clip of a BBB business profile. This is an accredited business. You can see that by the logo that shows they're accredited. And you see next to that logo a rating. That rating is given by BBB. Then over on the left-hand side, you see a star rating. There's a difference between star ratings and letter ratings. Star ratings are given by the consumers, and the letter rating is given by BBB. So with BBB customer reviews, we try to vet each reviewer when a comment is submitted to check for authenticity. It's actually next to impossible for us to guarantee that every review is legitimate, but BBB ensures accuracy and transparency. And about a third of our reviews that actually come in during the vetting process are actually rejected for some reason. So customer reviews do not impact the letter rating. I just wanted to point that out. They impact the star rating. And you might have a question or two about that we can get to. So there are a few advantages of BBB reviews that I want to point out. First, BBB validates emails and phone numbers for each submission, making sure that there's actually a real person on the other end of that email. We do not accept anonymous reviews. So if someone tries to submit a review as unhappy customer or ticked off, something, a funny made up name, we do not accept those reviews and we reject those. Third parties cannot post on a comment on a customer review thread on BBB. Another thing, the advantage is customer reviews remain on BBB business profiles for 36 months. That is 3 years. Am I freezing up?
We were hearing you fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just making sure I'm looking like I'm freezing. The reason we do that, let's say you get a negative review today, and you wouldn't want that review to stay on there indefinitely, right? That employee might not even be there anymore. There's a lot of pros and cons for having a review only on a profile for 3 years. Similar to BBB's complaint process, all businesses have the opportunity to respond to a customer review, add a comment to be published alongside of that review content, or to reach out to BBB and say, hey, I don't know who this person is. We don't have them in our database. We haven't had an interaction with this customer. So there's a more interaction with BBB to get to the bottom. Maybe that review needs to be transferred to another company. It could be in the incorrect location, and we can have that conversation. I do want to clarify that the difference between a marketplace interaction and a marketplace transaction. There does not need to be an exchange of money for there to have been a marketplace interaction. So a person can submit a review against a business when they ultimately maybe weren't your customer, they didn't, pay for a product or service, but they interacted with your company somehow. Maybe a phone conversation, something through email, the list goes on. With reviews, BBB reviews, unlike complaints, there's no time limit when a customer can file a review, meaning you could ask customers from 5 years ago that had a great experience to submit a review on your business today, and we would accept it. That's a little different in the complaint process. I think it's 1 year for complaints, but for reviews, there's no time limit. So that can be really good for you because you probably have a bank of really happy customers from years back that you could start collecting reviews from. Customers may not receive any type of payment or compensation or favor in exchange for writing review. We have educated our businesses about this, but it should go without saying that you don't say, okay, I'm going to give you $100 off if you write me a review. We want real reviews that present no conflict of interest. And in the long run, this is best for your business's reputation as well. So you're encouraged to not provide some kind of compensation for review. If we find that a business is doing that, then we actually reject those reviews. And then I will say one last thing is that consumers cannot submit a review and a complaint on the same marketplace interaction. And so and we're talking about negative reviews at this point. If they have submitted a complaint with BBB and it's accepted and being processed, that trumps the review. So we don't publish the details on a review and a complaint on the same issue. We're going to eventually publish the complaint and the review is rejected. So what is the process exactly for collecting reviews with BBB? The first thing that the reviewer does is they submit their review via the link on the BBB business profile at bbb.org. We'll get to in a minute, we'll get to other ways you can collect reviews. Then I'm a reviewer, I submit my whole review. And when I'm done, it says, hey, one more thing. Before your review is sent to BBB, you have to verify it. And you're going to receive an email. And they receive an email at whatever email they use to submit the review. And they click on that link. And then once they do that and they verify that they sent the review, they're a real person on the end of that email, then it comes to BBB. And then we start the process of sending it to the company. The business is notified at that point of the review, either through email or through a postcard in the mail. If they don't have an email on file with BBB, we send them notice of it snail mail. And then the business has three options at this point. They confirm that the reviewer is their customer or someone they had an interaction with. And at that point, they can add a comment. Thank you for your continued business. We appreciate you. Or respond to a negative review, which we'll talk about. They could deny that the person is someone they've had an interaction with by contacting BBB. And we, at that point, would say, okay, thanks for letting us know. We're going to reach out to the reviewer for more information to substantiate their claim, basically, to substantiate the interaction they're saying they had. And if we do receive something that meets acceptance policy, then we would reach back out to the business directly and say, we did receive substantiation that they had an interaction with you. Why don't you, decide if you're going to respond to that review or not. Businesses don't have to respond to reviews. It's very different than the complaint process, but in a minute, we're going to talk more about why it is important to respond to them. So, but anyway, if no response is received by the business from the review notification they got, the review is actually posted. If it's positive, within 24 hours. If it's a negative review, we let it sit waiting for a response up to 10 days. So pretty sure if it's positive, let's just go ahead and publish it. If it's negative, we give, over a week, up to 10 days to see if that business wants to respond. So next I want to discuss how to handle negative reviews like a professional. Every business gets negative reviews, and you can't please everyone all the time, no matter how hard you try. Getting a bad review is not the end of the world. Consumers actually can be a little suspicious of brands and businesses that have all 5-star reviews. Having an occasional bad review mixed in with the good ones makes you more human, more authentic, more transparent, more trustworthy. So it's hard to do, but don't let a bad review ruin your day. Use them as opportunities to strengthen your hard-earned reputation and also make your business better. Reviews, good or bad, can give you as a business owner important information about your business. They also show you what your customers think of your company. And having this information through reviews allows you to fix and improve your customer's experience if you let it. In the age of smartphones, the internet, and social media, every business action is exposed in real time. Nothing's local or confidential. You treat one customer poorly, you produce one substandard product, or you raise a price on a product, and your mistake or your decision is basically published to the world at that very moment. So how do you build a business with trust when a consumer has written a bad review about your company? I don't know if you remember the movie You Got Mail back in the day, but it was the big business bookstore versus the small little bookstore, local bookstore. And it was all business is not personal. And she was like, yes, it is personal. I mean, you invest everything into your business, and it's really hard when you get negative feedback. It's personal. So let's talk about how to handle. The first thing to do is to automate the process. I suggest all businesses that I work with that they are very sure that they are being notified of what is being said about their business online, that they have some control of their online presence. Let me tell you, when someone submits a negative review to BBB, it's probably not the only place that that review is being posted. They probably, if they're upset, have copied and pasted it on every site they can find. So there are ways that you can harness tools available to you as a business owner that notify you with mentions and reviews and give you alerts to know what's going on with your business and how you're appearing online. So that's definitely something recommended for you to do some research on and be notified of those alerts and stay on top of your online presence. The next thing suggested for responding to negative reviews would be to respond in a calm state. It's natural to feel very defensive when you get a negative review, especially when it's even directed at you personally. But before you hit send on a response, put your emotions in check. You have up to 10 days and, respond from a place that's professional and helpful. We always tell businesses to focus on not necessarily that person that wrote the review, but what you want other customers to see, what you do and how you take care of your customers. Because it's most likely that you're not going to be able to satisfy this disgruntled person, no matter what you say. So when you're responding to unhappy customers, try to be patient, courteous, but above all, professional. And BBB cannot write business responses to reviews, but we surely have handled thousands of business responses. And so we always offer to businesses, if you want to craft a response and let us look at it, we can work through that response together to make sure that it sheds your business in the best light. So it's really important whether you, that you respond. If you respond publicly to a negative review, you're acknowledging to your customers' concerns, but also letting other customers know that you're taking ownership when things go wrong, that you care about your customers' concerns. They may not always be right, but they are always your customer. And our customer relationships trump advertising, image building, public relations, and even marketing. So business has always been about happy, satisfied customers, and it always will be. See criticism as an opportunity. Sometimes negative feedback can be really good for your business. It can shed light onto problems and help you improve your business. Maybe there's an issue with a particular employee, and it's those reviews that are shedding light on that situation, and that's something you need to manage within your business. Whatever made your customer unhappy is not a reflection of you as a person. It may be tempting to battle it out, and I see businesses do this and it doesn't look good. So they take the review and they pick it apart and put blame on what the customer should have done. And I think that's really natural for us to want to do as a business owner, but it's not always the professional approach to pick apart and put blame on them. Sometimes it's appropriate to actually say, I'm sorry, or I apologize. A genuine I'm sorry, or, apologize for the confusion can actually diffuse a situation and open up an opportunity for more conversation and honest communication. Next thing I would suggest would be not to make excuses. If the company did do something wrong or there was a mishap, own your mistake and find a way to make it right. If you do nothing or you fail to repair the relationship, that person is most likely to go and tell a bunch of other people about it. And that's not the marketing that you want out there. Educate your consumers in reviews, responses. Sometimes your customers don't have all the information they need and they're lashing out. And there's a way to, professionally correct any inaccuracies that they have and help them understand why your prices are higher or why certain features aren't included in your services. There's a lot of power in educating your consumers about what's going on. So that's very quickly. So let's talk about how to get positive reviews. Hopefully you are getting positive reviews. And you're tapping into your customer network and asking for them ultimately will drive leads. The number one reason that businesses don't get reviews isn't because they're not good at what they do or their customers are too busy to provide them. It's simply because the business does not ask for reviews or they do not make it easy for the customer to do so. According to data that we've collected with the International Association of Better Business Bureaus for over 5 years, 76% of consumers that are asked to leave a review will actually go on to write one. So there's no doubt that positive reviews deliver good return on your investment. Consumers tell the Better Business Bureau that positive reviews make them trust a business more. Many consumers research their referrals. Maybe they get a referral on Facebook or, their mother-in-law gives them a referral. They actually go and they start researching those businesses before they even contact you as the business. Your customers are your mouthpieces. They can influence hundreds, if not thousands of strangers to buy from you or to use your services. And having positive reviews, especially on authoritative sites like bbb.org, elevates your position in search engines where customers are looking for businesses like yours. And Caleb's going to talk briefly about that in a minute. So how do you get positive reviews? First of all, just ask. Most of your satisfied customers would be happy to give you one. Sometimes they just need a simple nudge. And a nudge can come in the form of a handwritten note, an invitation by email, something simple. Thanks for choosing us. We'd like to invite you to share your experience with us. Your feedback is important and it helps other potential customers. It's just a matter of asking. You could also do something printed. Maybe it's on your business card. Maybe it's a small card that you give to your customer in a face-to-face interaction, something you're leaving with them. Some companies even add QR codes to these little cards that make it really easy to write a review on the spot using their mobile devices that are right there, usually in their pockets. These printable invites can also be very tangible reminders when they go back into their house and see it laying on the counter or it's on the refrigerator to write a review. So when is the best time to ask for a review? The point of sale is the best time because it's the height of the customer's euphoria. A happy customer might have good intentions to write a review and just kind of put it off and not do it right then. Let me tell you, someone who's disgruntled, they'll remember to write a bad review. But what you're trying to do is collect those positive reviews on the front end. Don't miss this a golden window of opportunity at the point of sale or in some follow-up that you already do, like a post-purchase follow-up email or a thank you. Asking the customer at the time of service increases the odds that your customer is going to follow through with actually writing a review. So if you wait too long to ask, you actually, the person has less initiative to write a review because they just kind of don't remember. They're on living their life. So when make sure you're collecting email addresses and phone numbers so you can connect with them and ask for those reviews. It's fresh in their mind. Another way to obtain a customer reviews is to add a call to action button on your website, on your social media accounts. If you're an accredited business, we have dynamic logos that you can put on in those places, and it will just quickly direct your customers to the submission page where they can just start filling out the review. The easier that you make it for them, the better. You could also create a survey. A survey is an efficient way to get feedback and data from your customers. On your website, you could, make a poll. You could ask for customer feedback and then use data to create a comparison chart about how you stack up against your competitors. Some easy tool monkeys would be like SurveyMonkey, pollmaker.com, easypolls.net. These are all places where you can create polls and surveys. However you decide to start collecting reviews, be sure to make the process as easy as possible. Most customers are not going to spend too much time searching for how to figure out how to do this. You want to make it easy, unless, of course, it's a negative review. But put direct links into your profiles in multiple places, in your email signatures. As accredited businesses, you have access to all these logos and special links. Put them everywhere, make it easy for them, and put them in places on your invoices and your follow-up emails and such like that. So in closing today for me, what are the best places to collect reviews? Obviously for what I would say, the first, HubSpot recommends that every business should use bbb.org. Consumer reviews are more trusted on BBB because I said earlier, they're third-party validated. This ensures that the individual is reading a review that is a real person who had a real interaction with the business, not just employees writing good reviews or such like that. If you're an accredited business with the Better Business Bureau in Middle Tennessee and Southern Kentucky, you also have a resource available to you called 3B Review App. That is a very simple way to send reviews via text message to ask for reviews. I mean, you send 10 text messages out a week or a month and you get 3 back. You could go to a 5-star review business really quickly. So that is available to you, and your BBB representatives can give you more information about the 3B Review app. And you'll be surprised how quickly your reviews are going to start stacking up and collecting if you just start asking in some way. Another way is through social media platforms. Facebook wasn't intended for collecting reviews, but it has more than 1 billion active users. Use it. The business pages allow for ratings, reviews, updates, stories, tagging. It has features that help you connect with your current and your future customers. And then there's other local places like Google Places and Google Local that help you, kind of keep up with your listings and collect reviews as well. I think that Caleb has a few things he wants to talk about SEO, and then we're going to open it up for questions. That's a lot of info in 30 minutes, Melanie.
Muted. Yes, Kari, it is a lot of information, but let's go ahead and get with Caleb.
Thank you, Melanie and Kari. Hey, welcome everyone. Nice to meet you. My name's Caleb. I'm the Marketing and Communications Manager here at BBB Middle Tennessee and Southern Kentucky. So I deal a lot with reviews, and I also deal a lot with how they affect our marketing and our online SEO. Search engine optimization, or the abbreviation SEO, can sometimes sound a little scary if you're a smaller business, or even if you're a mid-sized business and you don't necessarily know what that means. Essentially what that means is, how are you showing up in a search engine? Are you showing up on the first listing, or on the second listing, or on the fourth listing? And so what search engines are doing is they're constantly searching and crawling online and looking for updated information to inform consumers that are searching for items online, and to get people connected with those businesses. Google has specifically seen an 80% surge in the use of best whatever company, the word best itself. So a lot of people are using these to find businesses at that moment that are what they consider best or for local search. So it's very important to make sure that you're giving those search engines relevant and up-to-date information. One of the easiest ways to do that is through sending reviews and getting reviews for your company, because it shows that you're a active business, you're not closed. It gives relevant information as to the services you provide, and it also gives you a lot of great keywords. So if you're trying to become the best lawn care in Middle Tennessee, if you have a lot of reviews that say that, you could potentially move higher within those search rankings. A lot of the algorithms that companies use are very guarded, and so it's very difficult to know exactly what people are using or what companies are using to rank in for that SEO purpose. But Google has published their search quality evaluator guidelines, which is how they use their algorithm and how they've coded their algorithm to work. And within that, they mention reviews 72 times. And they have an entire section about how reviews are used to evaluate your website's reputation. Now, as we've mentioned here, Google also recognizes that you're not going to always get 100% reviews. You're not going to get 5-star all the time. They mentioned that specifically, that it's kind of fishy, and they sometimes derate 1-star and 5-star reviews when looking for evaluating a website's reputation. And so that's just something to keep in mind and something to use as you're building those reviews, as a reminder that that search engines are using this, and online reputation is very important because it's also where we're finding a lot of our new businesses nowadays. With that, that's a very brief description of SEO and how it affects with reviews. But I know we're already 3 minutes over, so I want to go on ahead and move into the question section. If Melanie, if we want to head into that.
Yeah, absolutely. We do have a question from Deborah Hampton. It's how do you add the widget to your signature line in your email asking clients for a review? Caleb, that's probably you.
Yeah, so to add the review link, if you are an accredited business, we give you the links to all your reviews and all those sort of things specifically. So you have access to all those links, and you have access as well to a dynamic review link that you can put into your email. It's depending on which email provider you're using, the steps are very different. So I would suggest getting with your account manager to see how you might do that and what would be the best steps for that. But if you can't figure that out, the easiest way to do that is just take that link that we send you for collecting reviews on bbb.org or whatever place you're trying to do reviews on. If you're trying to build up your reviews on Facebook or on Google, find that link and put that in that email line, and maybe even just have it hyperlinked with an image about getting reviews.
And so Caleb, that would be for anybody, because we do have a mix of accredited and non-accredited businesses on here.
Yes.
The same.
Yeah, you can do that for anyone.
Okay. I don't see any other questions in the chat, but does anybody have a specific thing, a review or experience that has happened to you that you need help with or want to discuss, or speak up now, or type it in the chat if you need? Because we have dealt with all kinds of things. We actually dealt with a consumer that was blackmailing one of our accredited businesses, and actually had the email to prove it. So just checking. And while we're waiting, if there's anything else, Kari, will you,
Yes.
will you share your information with me, and then I can email it? Like, we'll email out a package of information about reviews to everyone that attended today.
Yes.
Okay, thanks. Okay, I guess that's it. I want to thank everybody that attended today. I hope you got some valuable information about that. Oh, hold on. Can you talk more about negative reviews that are not actually one of our customers? How do you get rid of those? That's from Sophia.
Sure. Sometimes we do see reviews. Most likely, it's usually like a competitor that will try to submit a review. They make up names. And if you say, BBB, this isn't someone that we even know who this is, it's not a customer, we actually reach out to that reviewer and say, hey, let's substantiate your marketplace interaction that you allegedly had with this business. And we do that through a rejection. And more times than not, they do not respond because they don't have anything to substantiate the interaction. But I will say this, just because a reviewer wrote something that's not true, that does not mean that it's not a review that's going to go forward. And what I mean by that is everyone's looking at an interaction differently. Everyone has their own perception of words and situations and tones of voice. Just because what they're writing isn't the truth does not mean it's not going to meet acceptance policy and be a published review. And that's where we as business owners naturally want to go, well, that's a lie. That's not true. That's not what happened at all. And it gets it gets difficult to navigate how to respond to those kinds of reviews. But there is a way to do it. And that's why we offer to businesses to look over those responses first, because usually disgruntled customers do write lies. I mean, they do. And it took me years to not be like frustrated that I have to send them and publish them, because I know the reviewer is telling a lie, or I know the reviewer is trying to manipulate the situation by writing a bad review to get what they want. And you probably know what I mean by that. And then if they hope they get what they want, then maybe they'll take the review down. I don't know if that answers your question, but you can always contact BBB if someone wrote a review and you don't recognize them as a customer, and we can reach out to them privately and ask for more information.
Okay. Kari, we have another question from Matthew Williams.
Sure.
If we have a repetitive negative review from the same person across different platforms over a long period of time, how would you suggest that we respond to them after a lapse of time on other platforms?
So the way I'm understanding the question is maybe you just realized that they were all out there, that they went and blasted you all over. Is that what you mean?
I would assume that's what it sounds like to me.
Here, Matthew, do you want to speak? Matthew, do you want to answer that? Unmute yourself and talk about it.
Hi, I'm his secretary at the moment. However, I meant if we have already responded and now several months have gone by and they read that negative review, how do you suggest then answering it after it has been addressed?
I really stay true to the saying that trust is built with consistency. So if you've already crafted a message that's out there publicly, using that same message in response to all of those reviews that are probably pasted by them would be my suggestion, to be consistent in your response. And try to take it off. Respond not thinking about them. Try to take the situation offline. At that point, they're probably just trying to bash you and ruin your online reputation. There's probably nothing you can do. So you really want to focus the response on future customers without trashing the reviewer. It's a tough thing to navigate.
Okay. And also I would guess, along with like when you have reviews on Google and all of that and Yelp to contact, I guess, administration for those, to see if you can get things removed. But I think some of their, what they require is a little bit more because, with us, you're dealing with us one-on-one. You can just email us and there's different levels that you have to go through for some of the others, I believe. So
absolutely. I think it's easier to get in touch with us. I'm not sure how they all work. I've heard businesses say it's hard to get a hold of Google. to discuss a review. I don't have experience with that personally, but I know that we want to work with you the best we can. And maybe it's that you craft a message, like I said, and let's look at it together. Let's say, what are the best ways to, the best sentences you can use to put your business in the most positive light in response to that negativity.
And I would say that's for whether you're accredited or non-accredited. We want to help you be better, and we want to help you with that. So, Caleb, do you have any closing words?
I would say just use your resources, take the time, even if it's not on BBB, take a moment to craft a response and have someone else look at it. And also remember that most people are not going to look beyond 3 months of your reviews. And so if someone is writing a review multiple places, just know that about 3 months from now, it's not going to matter at that point. So just keep that in the back of your mind. And as Kari and Melanie said, always feel free to get someone to look at the response beforehand, because I can't stress how important that is. I respond to reviews for BBB. I've had issues with Google as well. We still have reviews that are completely unrelated to our business that are on Google because we can't take them down because Google won't let us take them down, even though they're not related to our business. So I get all the issues and stuff, and just remember that having someone else look at the review before you send it can be really, really helpful in crafting some of that language.
All right.
My challenge for everyone still on would be this next week to pick one small thing that you could do to start working towards harnessing the power of positive reviews, is to go ahead and ask 5 customers that are already in your network to write a review for your company. That way, you already have 5 there. If you were to get a negative review, like Caleb said, you'd already have some that would counter that negative review. So that's what normally I see as a business upset. They have a negative review, and that's the only thing out there. There's no positive reviews to counter that negative review. So that would be something small to do. And also make sure all of your online listings are up to date, especially your BBB business profile. You have a person on the other end of that account that will help you get that updated if you need help. So thanks for coming today.
Thank you so much. And if anybody doesn't have a profile on BBB and want one, it doesn't cost anything. Just contact me after this. I will help you with that. And then we'll also put together a package for this presentation that you can use as a reference. So thank you so much. Have a good rest of the day. Bye-bye.